hockey fans! Welcome back in to the neutral zone here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport. It's been a couple weeks. I hope everybody had an awesome and fantastic Thanksgiving. We have got a ton to get to on the show tonight. Of course, we've got all kinds of NHL action going on tonight. We'll get you caught up on all the scores, all the games going on. We've got the Avalanche trading basically every single goalie that they've got in an effort to try to right the ship. We've got the New York Rangers going into an epic tailspin. Will they be able to pull themselves out of it? The Chicago Blackhawks have become the latest NHL team to fire their head coach in the middle of the season. We've got rosters for the Four Nations tournament coming up here in just a couple of months. And we've got news and notes from the commissioner outside of the Board of Governors meeting. Positive note that could show us ability for the game here coming up. All kinds of good things, lots to get through. This is the neutral zone. Buckle on up. Let's attack the zone, pass the puck. Check that five ball. There's always we got to stay out of the penalty box. Buckle on up, everybody. Let's go. And hello and good evening once again, everybody. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis is prepping for a cross-country flight first thing tomorrow morning, so he's got the night off. So it is you and me for the next 55-ish minutes here tonight. Sorry for the little bit in the delay in getting the show started. I literally just walked in the door after going to a concert that I had no idea I was going to be going to. So here we are, hence the, little bit of the fancier duds here tonight. Good thing that I have to dress up for work. So I fit right in. Lots to get to on the show tonight. Of course, we've got all the games going on tonight in the NHL to get you caught up on. Lots of news and notes from around the NHL from the last couple of weeks. We'll be diving into some of the bigger stories going on around the NHL. We've got rosters for the Four Nations tournament that's going to be happening here in just a couple of months. So we'll break those down, go through those a little bit. We'll try to get caught up on the PWHL, see what's been going on in the women's league since they dropped the puck a couple weeks ago, who's doing well, who is tailing off. And then Gary Bettman, I know that's a name that nobody likes to hear, but he actually had some good things to say at the Board of Governors meeting. So some continued growth throughout the league. So hopefully that'll be a sign of good things to come. We got a lot to get to and not a whole lot of time to do it. So let's dive in, shall we? First, a quick word from our sponsors, and then we will dive headlong into the neutral zone. Don't go anywhere. Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnick with you here tonight. Zach Puplis has got the night off. He's getting ready to fly cross country first thing tomorrow morning. So he's taken the night off so that he'll be able to do that. He's helping his brother move back across the country. What a guy. What a guy, let me tell you. Big shout out and thank you again to each of our sponsors. You heard them there: Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, and of course, IE Sports Radio, the platform by which this show and all other shows on the network is possible. You heard how to follow along with all of the sponsors there. This show is also available for you on social media. On Twitter, we are at IESR Neutral Zone. You can also follow me. I am on Twitter at Adam_Karnick, or you can also follow along with me on Blue Sky. I am at Adam K87. Thank you to everybody that is watching live here tonight across either YouTube or Twitter. Good evening. Hello. Thank you that you are here. And to everybody that's listening on later on in the week as a podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, wherever you're listening, thank you for being here as well. Thank you for taking time out of your week for this show. We do our best to try to keep you entertained and informed, and maybe you learned one or two things along the way. That's what I try to do anyway, is figure out something new going on in the hockey world. There's always plenty to go on. As we start off, we want to start this show off just like we do all of our shows. We want to take a quick look at all of the scores going on across the NHL landscape. We've got 11 games going on across the NHL tonight. Not quite all of them are in action right now, but we'll run you down. We'll give you the full lineup here. In New Jersey, the Devils are currently on top of the Maple Leafs 1-0. New Jersey absolutely dominating this game with 10 minutes to go in the third period. The Devils on a power play there, up 1-0, but Andre Palat, the lone goal scorer. But this has been all Devils out shooting Toronto 33-11 to this point in the contest. So a Herculean effort going on in net right now by Stellars for the Maple Leafs, but New Jersey absolutely dominating that game right now. Also in the third period with 9 minutes left to go in Carolina, the Sharks and the Hurricanes are tied at 2 apiece. Brett Burns just got the equalizer about 5 minutes ago for the Hurricanes, his second goal of the season. We've also seen Luke Kunin has scored both San Jose goals, and then Shane Gostisbehere with the first Carolina goal on the night. So a good one going on there in Carolina. Up in Columbus with 7.5 minutes to go in regulation, the Flyers absolutely dominating the home team tonight, 5-2. And that's actually a little bit of an improvement because Sean Monahan got the most recent goal for the Blue Jackets to cut the deficit down to 5-2. Philly had gotten off to a 5-1 lead. It was 3-0 at one point in this. The Flyers have led 3-0 and 5-1 in this game tonight. So good game tonight for the Flyers as they look to hold on. At the end of 2 in New York, the Kings have doubled up the Islanders to this point 2-1. Anders Lee did get the Islanders on the board. The Kings scored the first 2 goals. Adrian Kempe, his 14th, and Kevin Fiala, his 10th, to open the scoring for the Kings. But then Anders Lee able to cut the lead in half, 2-1, and that's where we sit. They are just about ready to drop the puck on the third period there in New York. About halfway through the game in Nashville, the Predators are actually in the lead, 3-2 over the Calgary Flames. We have a new netminder in net tonight for Calgary. Excuse me. No, not for Calgary. Excuse me. I've got the wrong notes. Dan Vladar is in net tonight for Calgary, and a very high scoring, but not a lot of shots as they're basically halfway through. So the goalie's having a hard time in that one tonight. Combined 5 goals on just 23 shots in that one. So the lamp is getting lit often when the puck is being shot. With 13 minutes to go in the second period in Winnipeg, the Jets all over the Bruins at this point, 3-0. Mark Scheifele just converted a power play for his second goal of the game. Vladislav Nemetsnikov opened the scoring also on a power play. So 2 power play goals already for the Jets. The Jets up 3-0 on the Bruins early. Just underway in Edmonton, no score between the Lightning and the Oilers. They are 7 minutes in. And then we've also got coming up later tonight, they're going to be dropping the puck here in about, we'll call it 20 minutes out in Utah. The Wild and the Hockey Club set to face each other. At the top of the hour, the Blues and the Canucks will be squaring off. And then also the Panthers and the Kraken. One other game going on tonight, and it's where we're gonna start the conversation here tonight. Down in Pittsburgh, they have just under 12 minutes to go in regulation. The Avalanche are doubling up the Penguins. I see Ralph Calise in the chat. Good evening, Ralph. Yeah, hoping to get the hat trick tonight. Well, the Penguins would certainly like to see that happen, as they are currently being doubled up by Colorado. Mikko Rantanen, a couple of goals for the Avalanche. So we could see a hat trick there. in that one. Ralph, the host of our Pittsburgh show. So good evening to you. And we are going to start there with that game between the Avalanche and the Penguins, because the Avalanche have been incredibly aggressive here in the early going this season. The Avalanche have been busy the last couple of weeks. They have a brand new set of goalies at the NHL level from where they were just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to apologize. I'm going to have my notes up here quite a bit tonight. I was at I walked in just from a concert that I was not expecting to be at right before the show started. So I'm going to be pulling up my notes a little bit more aggressively than I do on the show. But the Colorado Avalanche, you don't often see teams in November and December make moves at goalie. The Avalanche coming into play tonight, the Colorado Avalanche have been kind of precariously placed. They are 16-13-0, and they are right smack in the middle of the Central Division. They've got 4 teams behind them. They've got 3 teams in front of them. And they're 6-4-0 in their last 10. And it's been a strange season, a not necessarily typical start for the Avalanche that you would like. And a big part of the problem, very unexpectedly, was they had a problem in net. They were struggling in net. Their 2 goalies that they started the season with, Scott Wedgwood, and then Alexander Georgiev were struggling, to put it nicely, to start the season, not having the numbers that you would have liked. They were having the wins just because the team is so good and so strong offensively, but in net, one of the worst save percentages in the NHL. And in fact, still tied for the worst save percentage as a team in the NHL, tied with the Columbus Blue Jackets at just .880. So they got aggressive. They got very aggressive the last couple of weeks. Over the Thanksgiving weekend, Scott Wedgwood got sent to the Nashville Predators, and they acquired Justice Anunin. That was right at the end of November. So Justice Anunin winds up going to Nashville. Scott Wedgwood comes over. The backup from Nashville comes over to the Avs. He started things off. He played right away. He played right away Sunday, December 2nd, and got himself a shutout in his Colorado debut. So a good start, way to hit the ground running there for Scott Wedgwood. But the Avalanche weren't done. Last night, Georgiev gets sent over to San Jose, and Mackenzie Blackwood comes back over from the San Jose Sharks. Blackwood coming into this season, Mackenzie Blackwood on the year, 6-1, or excuse me, 6 wins. He's got a shutout, 19 starts on the year. goals against average of a straight 3 and a save percentage of 911. So you're hoping to see some improvement there for the team with the 28-year-old coming over. And now you've also got Scott Wedgwood, who he comes in with a 282 goals against average and a save percentage at 906. So you're seeing some improved numbers there. Now we'll see, will that translate for the Avalanche? Can that be enough to turn things around? But a very, a drastic move by the Avs. I like the aggression, though. I'm liking the aggression. Chris McFarland, the general manager for the Avalanche, he knew we've got a problem. We've got to address it. And we can't just sit idly by when we've got guys like McKinnon, guys like when you're one of the higher scoring teams in the league, but you're being held back by your goaltending, you want to do something to fix it. And it cost them a bit what they had to do, especially this most recent move to get Blackwood. They had to send of course, Georgiev. They also had to trade forward Nikolai Kovalenko, who was a young NHL ready guy that they would have preferred to hold on to. They send a 5th round pick next year and then a 2nd round pick in the following draft. They did get a little bit more than just Blackwood back in the return. They got forward Giovanni Smith, and they did get a 5th round pick in 2027 back. So a little bit of return there, not just Blackwood, a little bit more than that. But it's an expensive deal. And I like this quote from McFarland too, is quote, "You got to give to get. The goalie market is a bear. It's not easy in season to get goaltenders, starting quality goaltenders in this league. And we wanted to get ahead of it. And that was the cost of doing business." Then he was talking a little bit about San Jose. They're at a point where they're playing really competitive hockey, and there's a lot of excitement going on with the Sharks. Yeah, the Sharks have kind of caught fire here a little bit the last couple of weeks. And their general manager saw an opportunity to add a young player at the right age for his mix. Talking again about Kovalenko. It's certainly not a player that we were looking to move per se, but that was one of the pieces that San Jose was drawn to. So while we weren't excited to move Nikolai, we just felt that for the opportunity to add McKenzie, we had to swallow hard and include him in the deal. There is a little bit of an addendum too. Colorado is slated to send a 5th round pick in this upcoming draft that could become a 4th round pick. Colorado has 2 4th round picks in this upcoming draft. It could progress up to the lesser of Colorado's 2 4th round picks if there are some conditions met there. If 2 of the 3 following conditions are met. If the Avs reach the Western Conference Final, if Blackwood wins 25 games starting from yesterday through the end of the season, or if Blackwood starts 30 games starting from yesterday through the end of the season. So if 2 of those 3 conditions are met, then the 5th round pick would turn into a 4th round pick for the Sharks. So some a little bit of sweetener there for the Sharks. So the San Jose Sharks are going to be rooting for the Colorado Avalanche here for the rest of the season, and more specifically, they're going to be rooting for their former teammate Mackenzie Blackwood. So very aggressive moves going on by the Avalanche, but it's working out for them too, though. You can't really complain with the way it's gone. They pitched the shutout on Sunday, beat the Devils 4-0, and they added another goal here in the third. The most recent one was Lankinen got a goal. So it is now 5-2 Colorado. So far it's provided a spark for them. They've since that they've outscored their opponents 9-2. And in net today, it's Wedgwood in net again tonight. And he's made 20 saves on 22 shots. That's why they brought it. That's why they brought him in. I would expect that we'll probably see Mackenzie Blackwood. They do play on, they play Thursday at home against Utah and then Saturday. So somewhere probably this weekend. They don't have a back-to-back, so I don't see an obvious spot in there. Their next back-to-back actually isn't until next weekend. The end of next week, they play the Sharks on Thursday, and then they play the Ducks on Friday night. So certainly by then we'll see both goalies, but I would imagine sometime this weekend, I would imagine we will get into seeing both of the goalies there. Speaking of the Ducks, Taryn Rodriguez asking, tell me about who the Ducks acquired and can he turn them into contenders? I'm sick of seeing the Ducks at the bottom. Well, I tell you what, Taryn, we are going to take ourselves a quick break. And then, yes, we are going to talk about the player that the Ducks acquired because it came over from the New York Rangers, and the Rangers are in a little bit of a tailspin. So we are going to talk about some of that. On the flip side, we are going to take ourselves a quick break. You have locked yourself into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We are going to be right back after this.
Hey, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans, this is Jen B, host of the Show of the Land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in live to the Show of the Land on Tuesdays, where we will cover the Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Guardians, and Monsters. We will also talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, Crew, Fury, and of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll also cover other colleges in the area like Akron, Kent State, Cleveland State, Mount Union, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace, Youngstown State, among others. So like I said, if you love Cleveland and Columbus sports like I do, be sure to tune in Tuesdays to the Show of the Land with Jen B on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yell, and if you are looking for sports takes that live a mile above the rest, look no further than Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Want to talk about NBA MVPs and champions? Yeah, that's us. Perhaps a baseball team that no matter how they play, you just can't quit them? Yep, we've got that too. What about Stanley Cups, NHL award winners in the burgundy and blue? You got it. How about Buffaloes that run, pass, shoot, dunk? You bet. For all things Colorado sports, look no further than right here every Sunday at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, and 7 Pacific. Because if that light is red and the kids are in bed, you are listening to Mile High Musings, where we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos. Stay good, sports fans.
And welcome back into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnick back with you here for another 25 minutes or so. So we talked about the Avalanche being aggressive, making some trades to add here in the recent couple of weeks. Let's talk about a team that is seemingly headed in the opposite direction and making some additions by subtraction, maybe. What do we make? The New York Rangers, they are in some trouble right now. They are definitely in a tailspin. The Rangers currently sit, as we come into play here tonight, the Rangers are 14-12-1, 29 points in 27 games, just barely holding their heads above water. They are in 5th place in the Metro, tied with the Islanders, and a lot closer to the bottom of that division than they are to the top. And it has been trouble for the Blue Shirts here the last couple of weeks. Just 2-8-0 for the Rangers in their last 10, just 4 points in their last 10 games. And some of the losses that they've had in this stretch, they have not been very pretty. Lost 7-5 Sunday to the Seattle Kraken. Got blown out last Monday night by the Devils, 5-1. They lost to the Flyers 3-1 right after Thanksgiving. Last night, they lost to the Blackhawks 2-1. One of the worst teams in hockey doubled them up 2-1 in Madison Square Garden. They've got the night off tonight, but then they're on national television tomorrow night up in Buffalo taking on the Sabres. And it has been a struggle overall for the Rangers these last couple of weeks. And then it got even more interesting when they traded away their captain, defenseman Jacob Trouba. traded him away to the Anaheim Ducks, and got in return a 4th-round pick in this upcoming draft, and then also received defenseman Urho Vekanainen, who Vekanainen is how old is he? He's a 25-year-old Finnish defender, a former first-round pick of Boston. He's only played in 5 games this season, just 1 point. So we'll see what is coming there. But Trouba had some things to say on his way out the door when he wound up in Anaheim. Quote, "I wasn't really thrilled with how it went down." Talking about how things ended with the Rangers. "In my opinion, things could have been handled better. It's unfortunate how it all happened, but it's a rite of passage to get fired from Madison Square Garden." Anaheim is absorbing all of Trouba's contract, which he's signed through the end of next season, the end of the 25-26 season. So they've got him for basically a year and a half. It's an $8 million average annual value. So they're paying him roughly $12 million are the Ducks. The Rangers had been looking to make a move like this for a while, and then their slow start, their recent struggles kind of spurred them on in looking to make a move, trying to get younger. This was a team that definitely the feeling was with the Rangers that it was, if they're going to do it, this is, okay. All right, now I got to ask how I'm supposed to handle this one. So I have Taryn in the chat room asking questions about the Ducks, and then Larry's right after him informing me that I need to stop talking about the Ducks. So you guys settle that amongst yourselves, though I have a feeling with Larry being the czar and overlord, I probably should listen to him. But, you guys figure that out amongst yourselves in the chat room there of which direction you want me to go with that. Going back to some more things that Trouba had to say on his way out the door from the Rangers. "I was put in a situation this summer to make a decision between my career and my family. I chose my family. I'd choose my family 100 times over again. I don't feel bad about that. I don't like that everything unfolded so publicly. I guess that's part of New York." When you're in New York, yeah, if you are a sports figure in New York, the media will get to the bottom of stuff. They are very good there. They are very good there in the Big Apple of getting to stuff. Ultimately, what it came down to was on Thanksgiving, the Rangers went to Trouba. They asked him, either accept the trade or we're going to scratch you for the game the next night against the Pittsburgh Penguins. He did not give up his no trade clause at that point. Finally, the final tipping point, according to Trouba, was the Rangers then told him, either accept the trade or we're just flat out cutting you. They're gonna put him on waivers. And he even said that he felt it was a threat from the team. So Trouba, by accepting a trade, he at least then got to talk about with his family where they wanted to go, where he'd be willing to go. And so he chose Anaheim. Quote here, there was going to be a trade at some point. Anaheim was one of the places my wife and I were interested in. So he winds up he winds up with the Anaheim Ducks, a very young team, obviously. A very young team there in Anaheim, one that is trying their best to get a little bit of a winning culture put back into place. Currently, the Anaheim Ducks, they sit at the bottom of the Pacific Division. They're 10, 12, and 4 and have just 24 points. They're not the bottom of the NHL. Thank you, Predators and Blackhawks, for that opportunity. So they are at least ahead of a couple of teams, but it's by no means a great situation. It's 3 straight losses for the Ducks. They do have 10 points in their last 10 games. So they've had a little bit of a surge going in that direction, but not a whole lot, not a whole lot going there. So Trouba now, he winds up out in Anaheim. It is very strange seeing him in all that orange. That is a lot of orange that they wear now. So now he gets to be a mentor to one of the youngest rosters in the NHL, a team that is very much still trying to figure out how to win, how to grow, how to play good competitive hockey. But they've got now a 31-year-old defensive captain that has got postseason experience, has got some pelts on the wall, and we'll see what he's able to do with this bunch down in Anaheim. He did say, he's excited for the opportunity. It was good, nice to get out there with everyone, got to meet everyone, got to know everyone, get familiar. So excited to be here. He was saying after his first practice with the Ducks over the weekend. Everybody's been really welcoming, obviously some familiar faces. So it's been good to kind of jump right into dinner last night and talk a little bit and get to know everyone. This is a great opportunity for the Ducks to you're getting a fantastic leader. You're getting somebody that absolutely can help get some of these young guys, get some of these young bucks pointed in the right direction and try to, just get some wins. The Ducks, they're off tonight. They are out in Ottawa getting ready to play the Senators tomorrow night, the front end of a back-to-back. They've got actually 3 games in the next 4 days. They're in Ottawa, then they're in Toronto Thursday night taking on the Maple Leafs, and then on Saturday night they're in Columbus taking on the Blue Jackets. So some opportunities there, if you can come away with, if you can come away with 4, there are 4 points definitely to be had there in those 3 games. We'll see what the Ducks can do. Meanwhile, for the Rangers at this point, they've got the night off tonight. Their upcoming schedule, as they're really trying to just turn things around, just 4 points in their last 10 games for the Rangers. Their upcoming schedule, they're off tonight as well after they finished up a back-to-back on Sunday and Monday last night. They're on national TV playing Buffalo tomorrow night. Then they host the Kings on Saturday, and then they're in St. Louis taking on the Blues on Sunday. So we'll see, they've got a possibility there with those 3 games. There's some potential points to be had. Obviously with Shesterkin, they're never going to be completely out of game. They're never going to be completely out of a situation, but they got to figure out and figure out how to turn some things around before this season absolutely blows up in their face and gets really ugly, really bad. I'm taking a look at the clock here and I'm thinking, I'm thinking some of this, I had some different things planned for tonight, but I think we're going to take one more quick break, and then we've got some notes from the commissioner. I know nobody is ever really fond of hearing anything that Bettman has to say, but he had some positive things that came out of the governor's meeting this past weekend that should be encouraging for NHL fans everywhere. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back and wrap this up in just a minute.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Kernick here with you for about another 5 minutes or so of the show here tonight before we turn things over to Cale Henderson of Sin City Sports, getting us caught up on everything happening in the world of Las Vegas sports, including the Golden Knights. Cale actually used to be host of this show, The Neutral Zone, a few years ago. So he is definitely a guy that is comfortable talking hockey. We have some fun going back and forth there. Wanted to close the show out just with some notes from the commissioner from this afternoon. The Board of Governors meeting was happening down in Florida this afternoon, and Gary Bettman spoke at the end of the 2-day meetings, and there were some good things that came out of it. First of all, he is hopeful and optimistic that there will be a new collective bargaining agreement between the players union and the league by the end of this season. The current collective bargaining agreement isn't set to expire until September of 26. So we've got a little less than 2 years to go on the current deal, but he's optimistic that they might be able to hammer out something new before this season even wraps up, which would be fantastic and wonderful. We certainly don't want to have anything like what happened 12 years ago, where part of the season was lost due to labor strife between the owners and the union itself. So that's encouraging. There's good stuff moving in the direction of NHL players being able to participate in the next Olympic Games. Things are moving in that direction. The next Winter Games are scheduled for February of 26 in Milan, Italy, and things are moving in the right direction between the NHL and the IIHF and the IOC to have NHL players be able to participate in that. There's good things on that note. There's also good thing that's also sounding like the World Cup of Hockey should be coming up and should be happening again. They're talking 2028 is their target. Is their target for that. They don't have a date yet to announce plans for it, but they're still tentatively hoping for 2028 for a World Cup of Hockey. And then the big news is that the salary cap for next season is going to go up. So the cap this season is at $88 million. It's looking like it's going to go up to just about $92.5 million. 92.4 is the exact number that Bettman gave. But that is very encouraging. That's letting you know that the revenue stream is continuing to go up. Monies are continuing to come into the league. That's showing that the league is healthy. The sport is healthy. And that's good for everybody all around. So some good things and some good news coming out of the governor's meeting down in Florida the last couple of days. That is going to do it for our show here tonight. Big shout outs and thank yous all across the board. Of course, thank you to our sponsors, Planet Jerky, premium brisket beef jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Place your orders by going to planetjerky.net. They offer free shipping on all orders of $50 and above. You can follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Also, thank you to Seal the Deal Whack Deals. You can place your orders by going to iesportsradio.com/Seal the Deal Whack Deals. You also follow them on Instagram at Seal the Deal _Whack Deals. And of course, thank you to IE Sports Radio for providing the platform for this show. Be sure to follow the network on all your social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, at IE Sports Radio. Got a friend that is a hockey fan but isn't able to listen in on Tuesday night? anywhere where they get their podcast. Let's face it, everybody's listening to podcasts anymore. They've all got their favorite platform. Whatever that platform is, this show is available on it. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, YouTube, Deezer, anywhere you get the podcast, IE Sports Radio is there, and this show is there. Just search the neutral zone, and you will find it. Thank you also to Larry P., the star and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, doing a ton of work in the background, pumping out the show, for the content that's out there to these people. Thank you, sir, for all the hard work you're doing. It is not going unnoticed, nor is it unappreciated. Thank you also to Larry B. hanging out in the chat room with us tonight, as well as Karen Rodriguez and Ralph Police. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out. Finally, thank you for listening, whether you are one of the 355 people watching the show live here tonight across YouTube and Twitter, or whether you're listening on later on in the week. Thank you. We'll see you next week.